How's everybody doing? Interesting couple of days as far as things creeping towards a certain. We're being corralled. It seems all the liberal platforms, this one included, are starting to suppress actual information more and more. If you're fantastical or if you don't make curt, definitive statements about things that have to do with Scripture and you leave things open to interpretation, or if you blatantly teach false stuff, of course those things get hundreds of thousands of views because not being solid and consistent and literally standing on the word is everything that Satan stands for in this current age, because those of us who have chosen to not, those of us who have chosen to believe that everybody's a teacher and nobody is a disciple, really, really enjoy the false and the nonsense. And I've noticed a trend. One of my original, I guess, popular strange, considering it's got less than a couple thousand views, but the original popular video on this channel, you watching probably have seen it, has to do with the false prophet and who I think he is. And I think as the days draw on and we get nearer and nearer, more and more keeps coming to the surface that's convincing me more and more, quite honestly. Most recently yesterday, he got on his platform, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and basically stated that because Apple is thinking about including ChatGPT in their next version of iOS in their operating system on Apple devices, that he's not going to allow those devices on site at any of his establishments, any of his businesses, because he's worried about the information stealing. He's worried about algorithmic manipulation. I mean, if you play with these apps, they'll tell you all kinds of crazy stuff. It's all clearly biased, and it's all going in the opposite direction of overt truth and the feigned, everybody feel good. We don't need to worry about God, but we need kids, we need economy. The reasonable things that people like him say that aren't necessarily factually untrue. They just don't involve anything about the Lord or the truth of what's really going on. And he's become more and more obsessed with the stars, and the end result of this particular back and forth actually led to him, he's getting closer and closer to offering his own phone. And he's already got the largest wireless, basically satellite-based, still haven't determined that, but he's got this gigantic network that can basically get high-speed internet anywhere on Earth. And he's saying, awesome phone plans, all based on the internet, all with unlimited Starlink. And his platform has become so open that even though I say things that are vehemently, blatantly anti him and his buddies, he would not, I don't think would utterly censor me like, again, YouTube has been. So I'll be honest, even though it seems like sticking my neck out really far and basically guaranteeing a certain outcome for myself come, that midpoint of the tribulation, I'm very tempted, honestly, to go over there, start paying his monthly fee and uploading videos there instead of wasting my time on a platform that keeps suppressing this information. Will it get out to more people? Probably. I don't know if it's going to do any more work than the Lord already intended, but it's a thought. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys realize, but over the weekend, you probably have if you're watching this, there were a series of so-called right-wing victories in the European voting blocs that are occurring kind of left and right. France, Germany, it's looking like the UK is going to go that direction. There's a few other nations that aren't necessarily mentioned, but they have the same kind of rumblings underneath. We're seeing what is essentially, and this is a broad overview, but we're seeing a bunch of miniature Trumps come to their parties anyhow are becoming more and more popular. That doesn't mean necessarily that I'm saying the seven horns are rising right at this moment, but I feel as though we're seeing the very beginnings of a massive changing of the tide regarding the anti-immigration sentiment, right? And the nature of a Christian is not one to become so incensed by a foreigner, right? We're actually told to treat them well when they're in our land, but we're also told that when their numbers become so great, it's a sure sign that the judgment of God is against us, right? So Satan is using the natural tendency of the liberalized mindset over there to flood the country, create a situation that is, it's unsustainable, really. The native populations are suffering greatly. You know, they've socialized themselves basically into a hole where all of these folks coming in are given so much of the yearly, monthly, whatever budget that it's directly affecting those that live there to a great degree through taxes, through lack of finances available for them when they become in need, which is happening more and more. We're seeing drug problems, violence, and all these things rise. And I mean, you guys, I hope you're familiar with the statue in Daniel, right? Rome itself was the iron girdle, if you will, and then the later iteration was an iron and clay, basically, set of legs, feet, and toes, perhaps interlaced like zebra stripes, if you will, all the way down. This is the way I imagine it, with 3 of the toes being brittle and 7 being strong. And, you know, we have this 10-toed picture, and then we have, you know, Daniel 7 and 8 talking about a 10-horned beast with 7 heads, very much reminiscent to the exact same beast that's considered synonymous with the beast in Revelation. You know, so all of these are given exactly like it says in Revelation to come to power first, specifically as a springboard, if you will, for Antichrist. And once the 3 are finally uprooted, we're talking about Daniel 7:8 and Daniel 7:24, that's when he has fully subsumed all of the original lands that made up the original land of Rome. And he, you know, takes his seat in the temple, pretends he's God. He's already had the assassination attempt occur at this point. He's killed off the 2 witnesses, and the hunt is on. These things are happening, and it's more and more. And I feel as though the best thing to do is to keep doing what I'm doing. In that, well, I mean, somebody's got to speak some pure truth. I'm not going to get on that platform and directly name names, but I don't think it'll be a far stretch to understand who I'm talking about when I make mention of the fact that, you know, Rocket Man is trying to sell us a cell phone. And I find it very, 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 it's perfect, really. It lines up in such a way that what if the X phone came to the surface and it became the most popular platform, the most affordable, the best coverage, the best service, all these things. And I mean, that's something that the richest man on earth can do. He's clearly in league with the same powers that are bringing about this whole grand deception here. Not too long from now, I talked about aliens yesterday or the day before. This is all, I think, part of the grand scheme. I just have a hard time separating myself from it. We need to be aware of these things, but we also need to keep doing what we're doing and follow our ministry wherever it may lead. And again, I've resisted up to this point because I feel like it probably was unnecessarily sticking my neck out. But what's the point of having a channel like this if I can't go on, right? And YouTube's definitely not going to allow it. But they're probably also going to start losing money here pretty quick, and therefore I would have a little bit more room. I don't know. Maybe I'll do both. I don't know. You guys should let me know what you think. I hope you're paying attention to all this stuff. I hope this makes sense. I hope that you're still growing and putting up with your trials. There are many people out there right now that are suffering in many, many seemingly stupid ways, but these are really just like lighter burns on your arm designed to increase your tolerance for pain and the ability to resist what's really coming at us. And we're gonna get hit really hard. It's gonna be like a sci-fi nightmare. But the wonderful thing is he'll be there with us the entire time, and we won't have anything to fear, and it's going to be awesome. Let me know what you think. This was a bit of a ramble, but I kind of wanted to cover what's going on right now, and I'll link a video or two. I'm not a big Tim Pool fan, but he does cover it fairly well, at least in this particular instance. I stumbled on his video, and it wasn't complete nonsense, so perhaps give it a chance, see what you think. Anyway, pray for you guys. I hope you're all doing well. Talk to you soon.